This day breaking the Wise News, and it's time for the press preview, and we start off with our system of publication this day. Kwankwaso unveils blueprint, promises improved security, better education, restructuring orders. And Tinubu, I will end fuel subsidy. Shetima will retire Atiku to Dubai and declares former VP is a bottled water seller, not businessman. Atiku, Tinubu, Obi sent condolences to Davido over son's death.
The Punch newspaper this morning, dollar crisis, EFCC plans massive raid on forex dealers. Some riders, Naira's free fall worsens, now 857. Abuja forex dealers flee into hiding. Meanwhile, Kogi politician arrested with 326 million. Those leading photos there showing the EFCC arresting a Kogi State House of Assembly candidate of the NNPP, Ismaila Atume, with 326 million and $140,000 cash.
And welcome to the Nation newspaper this morning. The first headline in the Nation, I will unbundle transmission to provide power, says Tinubu. Fasoranti Afenifere has endorsed Tinubu. And also in the Nation newspaper this morning, Ayu can't lead PDP to victory, Wike insists.
The Guardian newspaper this morning, 2023, rift widens in Southwest over Afenifere's endorsement style. And just above that, medical trip clerk chides Buhari over failure to transmit power to the vice president.
And we come to the leadership newspaper also. Atiku, the 2023 campaign, Atiku, Tinubu, Kwankwaso offer solutions to ailing economy. And redesigning Naira won't check rising inflation. That's an opinion poll in the leadership newspaper this morning.
And some international papers this morning. Let's take a look at the Times newspaper. Quicker deportations to tackle surge of Albanian migrants. Below that, criminals and sexual predators join police. Watchdog lambast forces for vetting failures. And Musk hits Twitterati with monthly fee. And
in the Daily Telegraph, NHS seeks £7 billion extra to tackle backlogs. And Suella Braverman is not the villain.
And for the press preview, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello, who joins us this morning. Emmanuel, good morning. Thanks for being here with us. Let's take a look at this day newspaper. It's reporting on the APC presidential candidate outing yesterday. Tinubu, I will end full subsidy. How? Shetima speaking on the former vice president, he says, will retire Atiku to Dubai.
We all laughed at that. Yes, it was a Tinubu outing yesterday, and like leadership is reporting, they're all, everyone now, it's a race to tell Nigerians what they can do. Leadership is looking at it from a holistic point of view. But this day centered on what Tinubu said yesterday and also what Shetima said, and some of them were very dramatic. Tinubu addressing businessmen said that he's going to do a whole lot of things. Of course, he spent a lot of time also talking about those Lagos feat. Again and again, it's almost keeping to a pattern. That's what Tinubu likes to talk about, what he did as governor in Lagos State, and that he's going to repeat the same feat if he's given the presidency. That is his talking point. But Shetima took it to another level when he landed so strongly on the other candidates and taking them to the cleaners. It is normally characteristic of him to be really very acerbic in the way he speaks. Remember his allusion to Osibanjo as an ice cream seller. He's doubling down on that, and he took a serious swipe at Atiku yesterday, saying that just because you know how to bottle water or sell bottled water does not make you an economist or an entrepreneur or an industrialist. If you fact check that, you will agree that that's not right. Atiku has been in the forefront of leading all major businesses. He has a thriving university business. He was with English. A lot of people talk about his exploit at Intel as a former custom officer. But Shetima reducing him to just someone who had a diploma from Kano, say that look, he's not qualified. And even for Obi, he has something terrible to say. He said Obi is just Obi is banding poverty, and that is glamorizing poverty, and that's not the sort of thing that will move this country forward. You can't continuously say you have just one watch or one shoes. He didn't mention these people by name, but it's very clear who was referring to. So that's the dramatic aspect of those things yesterday. We should be expecting more of that. This campaign is going to get bitter. It's going to get there will be sound bites like that. But Nigerians will be watching, fact checking seriously to see those things that they say they can do. For instance, Tinubu yesterday talking about power, said that he's going to unbundle the TCN. Those are the sort of things that Nigerians will be watching to hear. What are you going to do about electricity? He said what he's going to also do about security. He said for security, he's just going to employ, get more people. Though, of course, he tries to give other insight on what to do with security. Ngechi, I can assure you that Nigerians will be keenly listening to hear what people can do. For Tinubu, of course, a lot of people will say, well, it's your party that's run this country for the last 8 years. If you have this kind of fantastic plans and you have this kind of fantastic imageries, visions for the country, why did you share it? You were the leader of the party that has not performed very well, whether it's in electricity or security. I see the opposition today, taunting him and telling him that he's got plans that never worked in the last 7 years. Why should they be thinking that it will work now? But Shetima did not spare both Atiku and Obi yesterday, saying that they don't have any visions and that the APC has got better ideas.
Maybe this is just the right time to bring out the memo to talk about what constitutes that hate speech again, because it doesn't seem like it's about issues. It's beginning to look so much about casting of passions of person as we've always seen campaigns. But still on the 2023 election, seems like the read in the Southwest is widening with Afenifere's endorsing style. Now there seems to be a faction in Afenifere with Fasorante saying he's still the leader of Afenifere and they've endorsed Tinubu, and there's also a faction they're also saying they've endorsed Obi. What exactly is playing out here?
It's so serious that the Guardian newspaper led with it. That is the lead story in the Guardian newspaper, Nigerian Guardian, that is. And it's there saying that, look, those rifts, like we're talking about Benny, has actually, deepened. I think what deepened it is the issue of first and foremost, the crisis within the Afenifere itself. Who is the leader? First one on one hand is called
saying he's still the leader.
Of course, but there are people who say he's the former leader, and that Adebanjo is the acting leader. So it's and look at the age of these men. They're all in their 90s, and they're very respectable leaders of the Yoruba people, and they can't even get their act together. I think the confusion even starts from there. The split personality, or rather the clear split image between these Fasorante on one hand, Adebanjo on the other hand, and who they choose to support. A lot of people saying that, well, Afenifere is not just supposed to endorse a Yoruba person just because he's Yoruba, and that it should be a federalist kind of thing with the group that favors Obi saying that, look, it's good that the Yoruba nation reaches out to the Igbo nation and say, look, we can actually endorse someone that is not just Yoruba. The danger in that, Benny, I see, is a situation where all the socio-cultural groups begin to actually endorse a particular candidate. Someone saying that the ACF example was better, the Arewa Consultative Forum. You know what Arewa did was to just call all of them together, listen to all of them, and have not endorsed anyone. Ohaneze, I'm not sure, has actually also endorsed anyone. But Afenifere, at least a section of it saying they're going to have to endorse their own. People criticizing that and saying that you don't just endorse a candidate just because he's of a particular tribe. If we go that direction, then one of the things that a lot of people fear will happen. It means that this Obi is going to be the regional choice for the Southeast. Then Atiku is going to have to take the North. We have to back Atiku. That's the danger a lot of people don't want to see happening in this election, that we should be able to have leaders that can appeal to everybody. And that's what the faction of the other faction of Afenifere is saying, that, look, we must not endorse a candidate just because it's Yoruba. We should go across the divide and endorse another. The ACF has a different Arewa Consultative Forum, is different from all the others, saying, look, we have listened to everyone, we're not endorsing anyone. But if the Afenifere, I suspect, if they insist on, insist on endorsing Tinubu, we don't know what Ohaneze will do or what Arewa Consultative Forums will do going forward.
Now, Emmanuel, how significant is this endorsement from the Afenifere if they don't know who their leader is?
Well, that's part of the problem. And that's what the Guardian is reporting, that RIFT have sent mixed messages. And you see a lot of mixed messages in these elections. You see confusion, or unlike in the past where you are very clear about the direction of sending people, you don't seem to know what's happening. For instance, the Afenifere is not so clear what's happening there. And this, a lot of electorates will be forced at the end of the day to probably go beyond the platforms and look at the individuals. And I suspect that's what a lot of people are going to do, so that some of these endorsements might not really, at the end of the day, given the kind of elections we are going through, some of this endorsement might not mean too much. But of course, for now it matters because these are leaders and our people still listen to leadership. So and that is why it is very good that if you're going to have any kind of endorsement, it should be very clear cut. And it appears there's problem everywhere because, like I said, we've not had Ohaneze coming out very strongly. We don't know whether the Southeast or the Igbo nation is really backing Obi the way it should be. I don't know if he's enjoying a lot of that. And we don't know, for instance, if the Irish Conservative Forum is considering actually just backing Atiku, or in the case of Fenifere, that is so clearly divided now on those grounds, with a lot of people saying that, look, why should we endorse anyone? In fact, some people even saying that Tinubu wasn't endorsed, that it was just prayers he got from the elder statesman, and so what's he talking about endorsement? So you're right, Nkechi, we're getting to a point where unlike in the past, some of this endorsement might not really mean a lot, but politicians will always like to think that they have got some kind of backing of people who've got they've got the ears of their people.
Now, let's come to a major headline in the Punch newspaper this morning, borders on the economy and also the 2023 elections. The EFCC is planning a massive raid on forex dealers, that's the BDC people. Now, they will also claim that a politician in Kogi was caught with over 326 million naira. It's going to look like we're pursuing the wrong thing now. Is this the panacea? Is this a solution to the recent, what I've described as the total eclipse of our naira by the dollar?
But if I have the answer to that one, I think I'm going to become an economics expert here, like Nkechi, who knows this thing more than the rest of us when it comes to the economy. But here is the problem: a lot of people not knowing what to do with the free fall of the naira. So everyone trying to get a solution, at some kind of a hang on the situation. You have the EFCC, for instance, thinking that by mopping out or by arresting, by doing some of those massive arrests, they'll be able to stop the slide of the naira. The economists will tell you, some other financial experts will tell you that, look, nothing is going to save the naira because our productive base is faulty already anyway, and that the inflationary trend of this country is tied to the fortune of the economy itself, maybe the productive sector. So you have a lot of naira in the economy chasing just few goods. That's inflation on its own. Redesigning the naira, they say, cannot change the situation. Some people say this massive mop-up of monies in the system cannot also save any situation. But so it's actually a race to the wires, and everybody thinking that something will save the naira from this free fall. But Benny, again and again, we're saying that it has not solved anything. In fact, one of the BDC person who spoke to journalists said that those rates are also part and parcel of the problem, that because they are selling these dollars in hiding, they've increased they've of course jacked them up, and that is part of the problem. And then even there again, some of the BDC are saying that, well, yes, it's true that they've got quirks in their business now, and that yes, they have to be regulated. So all sorts of solutions and all sorts of problems since the CBN announced that it's going to redesign the naira. Everyone has waiting on the crisis of the dollar, the crisis of inflation, and even the crisis of the naira itself. At the center of it is the crisis of inflation, which none of these seem to have been able to solve, and we're just going to, I guess,
because bear in mind that before the redesigning of this naira, there was already inflation. We're experiencing inflation. So how does this sort anything out?
That's what some of the experts were saying. They say it's not the first time that huge sums of money are outside the formal economy, the economy of banking, and that's a lot of money have actually been outside that. Over the years, over 80% of our money were actually outside the banking sector, and inflation, like you say, Benny, has always been there. So the experts are speaking. We're listening to them, and it's just difficult to know what exactly is going on. But there are people too that will tell you that this problem has to do with our productive sector and the fact that we're not able to, we're not able to get a hold on the economy itself, and so we're going to continuously have this inflation. Some people even globalize it and say, well, it's a global problem, and that inflation has increased, tying it out to the emergencies of the Russian-Ukrainian war. That situations like that have also increased. So you're having all this conversation going on, and everyone is listening. The mop-ups are going on. At the end of the day, it is how you and I are affected, how our lives are affected by these inflations and these changes, especially now that the Naira is becoming more worthless almost on a daily basis.
Emmanuel, thank you so much for that. That's the press preview. Let's hear your view on all the burning issues. Follow us on Twitter at Arise TV. You can join today's conversation using the hashtag Arise Daybreak.